Hey there, beautiful joy seeker. Welcome back to the I Am Changing podcast. I'm your host, Kaz Humphreys, and I'm a change facilitator. In this episode, I'm sharing my latest blog referencing is this statement the biggest miss? And it's when I hear people say to me, I feel like I've tried everything. And this is a perception. So let's get into this. In this episode, we're going to talk about this statement. I feel like I've tried everything. And I think when we're in the trenches of a situation in our life, when we feel like it's hard, it's big, it's challenging, we can't see the end result or the path isn't clear, we're in the thick of a lesson, we're actually missing the most obvious thing. We're looking outwards. I wish I honestly had a dollar for every time I heard this statement. I wish, or I feel like I've tried everything, because every single time I've heard this phrase, someone's been in the thick of their healing journey. And clients talk to me that sometimes they come in with a list of all of the things that they've done to try and resolve an issue. And let's use example weight. I've tried to lose weight. I've done this diet and that diet. I've set goals. I've created vision boards. I've put reminders on my phone. I've stood on my head. I've changed my routine. I've sampled every single diet known to mankind. I've taken expensive supplements. I've tried various therapies, blah, blah, blah. Their lists are often very expansive, and for them, it's been exhaustive and expensive. And let me say, after 20 years of running my own therapeutic space, I have one thing that when someone comes to me saying, I've tried everything, I've got one thing that they have not tried, and that's reviewing the perception of themselves. Your self image is critical to any change process. I was reading something by Tonya Lee. She's a life coach over in the States. And oh my God, did it resonate with me. And what I see in my own clinic clients is, and I've experienced this myself, I think we all have, it's human nature that when it feels hard and we've tried everything, we can feel stuck. And so you look outside of yourself. But when you look outside of yourself to problem solve, the issue is that we're looking for something external to fix something that's wrong on the inside. And not wrong, but just stuck or stagnant or distorted. And I'm talking about your thoughts, your feelings, your subsequent behaviors that come from you when this stress arises. Say it's weight loss or blah, blah. The emotional aspects that are part of you and associated with the problem that you come to see someone like me for. Here's the thing, we can't cut out the emotion. We can cut out a cancer. We can give you a tablet or a medication for inflammation or elevated this or that. But you can't stop the thinking and the feeling by pushing a button, taking a tablet, drinking a potion, having something cut out of you or someone doing something to you. But you can learn to accept the situation, be open to learning lessons about that situation, and hopefully love those emotional parts of yourself that are feeling sad or down or less than or unworthy. And so I ask those clients who have tried everything, what's the worst perception that you have of yourself? What's your most negative belief? And I'm often treated to a stunned look, a blank face. Honestly, sometimes I wish I had a camera to capture people's reactions because it's that dramatic. If the person is brave enough, they often admit to me about their negative self beliefs. And these can be deep and dark confessions that look or sound like I'm not good enough, I'm hopeless, I'm unworthy, I don't deserve, I'm fat, or I'm this or that. And these judgments that are heavy. And you know what? I call it out, it's word vomit. And it's word vomit like this that dissolves your positive foundation. And I use the metaphor of think of your body like a house. When you have strong positive beliefs about yourself, the foundation of your house is rock solid, very grounded, unshakable. But when you experience thoughts and feelings that are negative, it's like you've introduced termites into the foundations. Negative self-beliefs eat away at your confidence. And using that metaphor, negativity destabilizes your walls and your roof, letting in the outside elements like rain and wind and cold. So imagine standing back at yourself when you've got this thing going on in your life, and imagine that you're looking at a termite infested house with rotting walls, holes in the roof. Go on, imagine that right now. And then imagine trying to relax or get warm or feel safe in a storm with the rain and the wind gusting through all the holes. Imagine how uncomfortable you would become, because this is what happens to your body when your belief in yourself becomes negative. When you continue with negative self beliefs, you are eroding your inner world. You're eroding your outlook on life, your willingness to take charge and action, your motivation to do things, the boundaries that you set, and especially with how you allow other people to treat you. And you're eroding how you show up to the world and shine your light, how you show the world your true essence. So, to stabilize your emotional foundations, I've used a combination of modality tools to support my clients with kinesiology, mental health coaching, resource therapy, um, hypnotherapy, meditation, well-being coaching. We use what tools you need in that moment to diffuse that negative emotional energy that's associated with those lowered self-beliefs. And so we call it the HEAL method. There's 4 simple steps to guide you back inwards to find your solution for healing. And so the HEAL method is a really simplistic approach. It's simplistic on paper, and it's designed to guide you, my audience, through your healing processes. And it's both intuitive and effective. And by following the 4 steps, you can facilitate your own personal growth to restore positive belief in yourself. So, step 1, here, H for heal, here. The first step is to hear what you're saying, what you're feeling. This involves you have to be prepared to listen deeply to the language that you use about yourself. You know, emotional negativity is comprised of thoughts, feelings, and the resultant behaviors. They can't be separated. So there's a power of choice when you explore what you're feeling, what you think when you feel those thoughts, and what your resultant behavior becomes. So your ability to hear, your willingness to hear, gives you a conscious awareness of then exploring what triggers those thoughts and feelings. So, hearing the language you say about yourself and just sitting with it, because sometimes we don't express what we think about something, somewhere, a place, an experience, or a person, but we might form an opinion or talk smack about ourselves. So, the step 2 is evaluate what you hear. You started listening attentively. Your next step is to evaluate the emotion that you've become aware of. And this often is associated with those thoughts and feelings where you feel stuck, heavy, overwhelmed. When you can gently explore what activates that old pattern of negativity, you're creating your own invitation to make different choices of what you may need to accept or even release. Now, sometimes when you start doing this process, you can acknowledge and you can say out loud, cancel that. That's just a thought. It's just garbage. It's not related to anything. It's just an in the moment because I'm having one of those days. You can say out loud, cancel that. But I invite you to sit with, how does your body signal to you? How does your mind and your body work together to become empowered to identify what are the places, the people, or the situations that push your buttons and cause that negativity flag to fly? Because there's so much power in then recognizing what the trigger is, you can then take action. You know, it's really critical during this phase when you're listening and evaluating to what pushes your buttons, be really kind to yourself, because we all have experiences of big feelings, big patterns, big triggers, and they're all areas that need attention. And if you get stuck in that evaluation phase, pop off to your nearby therapist and do something with it. Don't sit in that situation. Step 3, adjust. Once you've gained that clear understanding, you've been listening, you've been adjusting what and how your negative self belief likes to dance, it's time to adjust. Now, you can choose a myriad of changes to your lifestyle, to your mindset, to your environment that support your healing journey. And the best part of this step is you can give yourself permission to pause once you've recognized the old pattern has been reactivated and make a choice to change. This can involve setting boundaries, adopting new habits, seeking support from professionals. And let me reestablish, we're not making really big changes here. They're often very subtle. And when you work with me, please know we don't knock down your walls. I don't work like a bulldozer. We don't destroy anything. We explore and we adjust so that you always feel safe with the progress that you're making. We use kindness to repair, to rejuvenate your nervous system so that you're always feeling safe throughout the process as you make adjustments. Let me give you an example. Come back to the house analogy. Sometimes our walls or steel frame has rust in it. And so you can't see what's on the outside, or you feel stuck in a room or a space or of an emotion. So I might invite you, install a window to look through so you can see what's happening from a bigger picture and feel safe enough to make some changes internally. You might unlock a door. You might walk through a corridor. You might install a ladder to go over a wall and climb the obstacles that you've built yourself to feel safe at some time. At each session that we renovate your house, you get to allow yourself more light to come in and allow yourself to shine that true essence, that light out to the world. And so this is really high vibrational work. Step 4, we liberate. The final step is to liberate yourself from the constraints of past pains and patterns. So we embrace our freedom that comes from hearing, evaluating, adjusting, so that you can achieve your desired healing outcome. Liberation from old negativity incorporates celebrating all progress, no matter how small the step, and continuing to nurture your well-being. Because frankly, what could be more meaningful, better to create meaningful change in your life than to maintain a new, healthy emotional state of balance in your world? And so sometimes liberation is acknowledgement of just observing a situation or stepping back and not speaking or entering into putting yourself back into the drama dance. Sometimes there's enough change just watching the drama unfold in front of you and not getting involved. Liberation doesn't have to be changing jobs and partners and hairstyles and clothes and blah, blah, and not spending a cent. Sometimes liberation is just sitting with, I'm okay, or looking at a situation and that's okay. I can't change that right here, right now, but I can sit with how I'm feeling and breathe through that. Go for a little walk, go and bang my pillow, have a scream into my pillow. They're not big things, but when you can acknowledge, you can adjust, you can liberate that sensation that's been stored in your body. And so when you're doing this type of homework, these small little actions, this gives you the opportunity to reconnect to a path that shines your light over and over until it becomes a subconscious muscle memory. So to wrap up today's episode, following the HEAL method is a process. You drive the speed at which you progress and create meaningful change in your life. And by implementing the HEAL steps, individuals can embark on a transformative journey towards healing and personal development. Know, as always, with all of my podcast episodes, there are daily inspirational posts on my social media pages. Simply search for me using the links in the show notes below. To grow my podcast audience or here on YouTube, it helps me immensely if you could hit the follow button. I'd be so grateful. Thanks also in advance for sharing this podcast with your own change tribe. I hope it ignites a fire of loving support and proactive discussion of how you can take charge of your journey steps through life, regardless of the challenges that experience brings you. I'm your podcast host, Kaz Humphreys, aka The Change Chick, and the I Am Changing podcast is a reminder that we can all choose to change and bloom from within. Thanks for listening. See you next time.